Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, may I have your attention, please? Are you ready to engage in a mind-blowing experience and hear talks about life, technology, entertainment, and business? The next episode of HIPTHER Talks starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hi everyone, Zoltan here from HIPTHER Talks. It's nice to see you again. Thank you for subscribing to our podcast. I have with me today a great friend from PandaScore. The company name might sound very interesting. They are actually in eSports. And I have with me today Oliver Niner, head of sales at PandaScore. Hi, Oliver. Ollie, nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Zoltan. How are you, mate?
All good. So, could you give us a little bit of background information about how you got started, or maybe something about your career that you would like to highlight to our audience?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so for those who don't know me, I started out in the betting and gaming industry in 2005. I started very early at BetGenius when BetGenius was a tiny little odds comparison white label company. Was there for a long time, was there for 8 years, and then moved on, worked operator side at Marathon Bet for 2 years, then went to Malta. So lived my time in Malta, which I think a lot of people in the industry either live in Malta or they live in Gibraltar. Worked for a startup over there, and then came back to the UK, worked in prize insurance. And then most recently, before PandaScore, I was working for a platform based out of Ukraine. And then joined PandaScore as head of sales in kind of late March 2021, so last year.
Yeah, that's a lot of companies in your background, which are very well known, and also PandaScore is one of the leaders of the esports betting. Okay, so let's dive into the questions. Can you tell us more about your partnership with Sporting Solution?
Yeah, we're giving you a little bit of exclusive, Zoltan, so it's quite...
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
We haven't put it to press yet, but yeah, we're very excited, and we're already talking to some of our clients, or some of the kind of advanced prospects about integrating through them. So it's it's the word is out anyway. We will obviously be releasing some kind of more formal kind of announcement very shortly. But yeah, we're very excited. I know they are. We're having the endorsement of a company like Sporting Solutions in terms of pedigree is fantastic for us. It shows the quality of our trading, really, and the quality of the data we produce and that is powered by our trading. And we're delighted that they have some premium clients, some of the top tier ones in the world. And we're psyched. They are. We've completed the integration. Integration will be ready very shortly. So essentially, it enables us to bring the PandaScore premium esports odds service to multiple customers. And when you couple that with some of our front end, our widgets, and some of our front end pieces we can do with those clients as well, it's going to be incredibly powerful. We know. We're wise enough in the industry to know, though we can integrate very quickly ourselves and people do direct integrations, we know that actually having an existing partnership with Sporting Solutions enables customers to integrate our odds quickly. And that's important. And we don't want, we're very conscious of not impacting, taking the step to not impact dev pipelines and backlogs too much. The other thing as well is, Sporting have got some, and it's more for them to tell you about that. I'm sure they will, but they've got some ambitious plans globally, and esports really fits into that. So we love the endorsement to know that, they're embracing esports as a product to go into new markets, new territories, and target new customer groups. So, that kind of thing all round, it's just a match made in heaven, and we're all delighted.
So to our listeners, at the time of recording this session, this is an exclusive news about the PandaScore partnership with Sporting Solution. And yeah, it means a lot, most probably for your operator partners and for both companies such a partnership.
Absolutely. Longer term, there's a piece there about their risk management piece. It's something, we pride ourselves again on producing on what we call the true price in esports. So we're all our R&D and all of our data science goes into making sure that price for esports punters is the true price. You couple that with award-winning risk management, it's going to be a very, very powerful tool that both of our customers can engage with. So yeah, very excited. Lots of stuff that can go on in the future.
Yeah, I think recently everywhere you look is all about esports or metaverse. So that's the two trending.
CEO absolutely loves the metaverse. Honestly, you could talk for hours about it.
Yeah, exactly. So how has esports betting changed in the recent months? Are bettors more demanding when it comes to the odds market that is being offered to them?
They are. They're more engaged. I think esports bettors have always been very engaged. They're savvy punters. I think you're getting more and more people. I think because the culture's changing in terms of how people consume media, I think esports is more of a fit to that. So it kind of fits in with that younger kind of demographic. And I think what we're seeing is those kind of esports fits into that method of consumption. So it's about how you consume streams and things. I'm an old I was described in one publication as a veteran, which I didn't like at all. But basically, I'm an old, I'm a UK guy who has his Sky Sports subscription, and I pay that. But I'm a dying breed. That doesn't happen anymore. People want, even in sports, they want to consume bite-sized media and do that. And esports really fits in with that. So I think what we're finding is that method of consumption is powering how people consume esports. Yeah. When you talk about odds specifically, it's very interesting. I mean, we've seen a lot of, so we were one of the first to launch player markets, so player props in CSGO. And we've seen quite a lot of, though that may sound, like we're following a trend with sports, but actually it's a very different thing with esports. It's kind of a new concept. So we've seen quite a lot of growth there and a lot of turnover on that. So esports punters are betting on that, and they're embracing that. I think the market is maturing. I think customer behavior is learning more, what to bet on. So it's moving, maybe slowly moving away from the line and the kind of traditional kind of central markets, and going into, side markets, and people are seeing what we can do.
Yeah, it's a good point. So ultimately, what is the benefit of operators entering the esports betting market, and how can you help them do this?
It's that engagement. I think we've kind of spoke about this a few times, haven't we? So I come back to the same thing, really. It's embracing the fact that this is the future. This is how you can learn so much from actually, not only is esports a massively popular, still compared to when you look at the size of the market and actually the amount of revenue that isn't tapped in from it into it, there's still so much potential for growth. And we just see growth in our bet volume constantly. It's keeps on going up. So people are consuming it. So there's that, and that's massively important. That's what keeps us all in work, and we'll continue to grow. But then there's that more kind of like more interest, more nebulous piece, which is about the kind of like how customers engage with the market, and are you engaging with your product, sorry, not market, and how are they consuming and engaging with the kind of the wider universe that you're talking about? Esports just keeps on growing, and having access to that from a betting perspective, from a media company perspective, which betting companies are, they're media and marketing companies, having that access to that is vitally important. And learning, the industry has a tendency to get a bit stodgy, to do the same things over and over again. Go to ice. I went to ice like from years, I lose track of time now because of the pandemic, but say, you go any time I went between 2017 or maybe even before that, 2016 and 2019, the lay of the land hadn't really changed. There wasn't too much new there. Everyone had the same stands and the products were pretty much the same. That kind of
just new slots, game releases announced every hour, etc.
Exactly, and this is it. If you look at the things that we're doing, look how quickly PandaScore, other companies are doing this as well, are releasing and doing new product. you see that there's that innovation path. And I think that's, again, what esports can do, build that innovation, that momentum, that speed, and change the betting market. I think that's already happening. So yeah, I think that's it's big, you know, revenue, product, and innovation. And I think those are the big kind of things that esports will bring value, you know, to the operator. And sorry, mate, I've got one more thing as well, which I think is quite interesting, which is again where we can help with is going back to that engagement piece as well. Is, you know, how does a customer behave when moving between, you know, the different verticals? You know, we know very well about how a customer behaves when moving between sportsbook, casino, sportsbook, other things. We're learning now how a customer like what the customer behavior is when they come in from an esports perspective and what they bet on. You know, our customers have very different, you know, some of our more esports specific customers have very specific product sets, which are quite interesting. So the behavior is a little bit different. And we've got those learnings. And we produced for one of our prospects, actually in the just before Christmas, we produced a piece which was a sort of a guide or kind of an instruction as to how esports has grown, where it's going to go, and what the methodologies are that you can adopt. And for PandaScore, we believe in consultative led relationship building. So we are there from the start to the, you know, throughout the relationship. We will grow with you. We will advise you. We will say, you know, do you want to have a separate esports website as part of your kind of, you know, if your esports product, which is separate to your sports book, or do you want to have a new vertical? Do you want to have this? Do you want to have it as part of your sports? What front end tools? You know, we do front end stuff. We do statistics. We do all of these different things and we can advise about how that would best engage with esports fans. And I think that's incredibly important. We have that with, you know, our backbone and our pedigree and our culture is all around esports. With that, you know, with people like myself and you know, our head of trading and our data science guys, they're full of people who've got background in betting as well. So we have that lovely kind of like mix of expertise, which can advise an operator who really, you know, gets it, but is a little bit afraid about how to do it. Yeah. And I understand that they would be, but I would say just come and have a conversation with us. We'll do it with you. We've got all the tools here, tell you how to do it, give you, you know, work out how it works with your customer base, and then take it from there. And that's kind of, I think, the best thing I can say about PandaScore is that we're all in, basically. Every part of the business wants to connect out to our customers and grow.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. And as a final question, it sounds like a cliche, but yeah, esports is definitely going to take over. It's going to surpass the traditional sports betting. But can you maybe predict a year in which will this happen?
Oh, a year! Wow. So
yeah.
which year will be the year for esports? Will it take? I don't know.
5 years.
It's a good question. I wouldn't like to speculate. I think this year is going to be incredibly exciting. I think, yeah, I wouldn't like to say. I think it will be, and it goes from geography to geography, you know. So Brazil is about to regulate, you know, we're all sitting in our way, Brazil to regulate. Esports is massive there, huge, you know, polarized market, massive market for esports. Someone, you know, is going to go there. Maybe a couple of operators are going to go there with a brilliant esports product and going to clean up, and that's going to go really well. I think saying that, you know, 1 year, I think it's difficult to say. I think it really does depend on the market, and you know, different things will happen. You know, and we all know that, don't we?
And now, since probably pretty soon, Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi will retire,
Yeah.
So there will be nothing to watch.
No, exactly. That's very true. Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much, Oliver, for joining us today. And thank you all the listeners for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe on Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and the other platforms. You can find them on HIPTHER.com/podcast. Ollie, thank you so much for being here.
Absolute pleasure, mate. Lovely to talk to you.
Thank you for joining. Be sure to check back next week for the next HIPTHER Talks and subscribe on Amazon Music, Overcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, and Pandora.